living in a country where your hairstyle is chosen, where there is no internet. And actually, that may sound crazy, right? But that is what millions of people suffer from in North Korea. Let's talk about inside the terrarium, the surreal reality of North Korea. Beyond the nuclear headlines lies the most meticulously controlled society on Earth. The Soviet Peninsula. It started over 1,000 years ago when Koreans started creating an empire. But in 1910, Imperial Japan, which was actually not an empire, which was just a colony, attacked North Korea and took over it. It was actually combined as one Korea, but it was North. It was said North. Yes. And after that, people started divided North Korea and South Korea, which was continued for 35 straight years. But in 1945, when World War II was being held, U.S. economy, U.S. president, and and Soviet Union president decided to divide these two nations into two countries, which we have now, North Korea and South Korea. US and Soviet Union's Russians still cannot detect, still fight over this area. Fought over it for several years, and this is still continued for now. September 1948, when Republic of Korea established under Kim Il-sung, commanded later by the unresolved Korean War. Actually, it was named Korean War because it was war between North and South Korea. The myth of communism has three things that is included. Traditional Confucianism interests strict social hierarchy, which contains several things which you cannot do. You cannot have internet, you cannot go out, you cannot do whatever, which includes as freedom. Soviet aesthetics provide the mechanical blueprint for one-party state and central economic control. If you don't know what one-party state means, you will know in the future if you watch it for more time. Imperial Japanese fascism. The regime repos Japan's race-based fascist worldview. They decided to improve the fascism and decided to lessen the rights of people living in there. Actually, they decided to do what Soviet Union, actually Joseph Stalin did. What Joseph Stalin did, they decided to let them have less IQ and less knowledge, so that they won't be able to control. So they will be able to control, but if they had understood their rights and if they had knowledge about it, they would fight for their rights and would actually got their rights. But that's a story for the future. Far from a communist utopia, experts describe North Korea as the last fortress of Japanese fascism, masked by the socialist branding and enforced by Confucian hierarchy. The directors, actually the dictators, a cult of personality. Kim Il-sung, the grandfather of Kim Jong-un, was the first president of North Korea, and then it was Kim Jong-il, the father of Kim Jong-un. Then it was supposed to be the exiled heir, the Kim Jong-un's brother, but he did not become the president because he wanted to go to Disneyland, and this is a fun story. And they didn't actually made them their heir, so they decided to just make it Kim Jong-un the heir. They had this kind of rule. Society believed that when that the hairs could actually control weather. It's strange, right? And what happened with Kim Jong Un was that when Kim Jong Un was born, he strange weather had happened from winter to spring. When it was happening, spring, when spring was coming, the two the when spring was coming, the strange thing happened. The double rainbow had started. The double rainbow had started because of the Kim Jong Un's born. When Kim Jong Un was born, that thing happened. People still say and talk about it, and people believed that Kim Jong Un was actually supposed to be their heir. The matrix of social control. If you don't know, matrix is the different levels of people. From the lowest, the hostile were perceived as enemies of that state, condemned to hard labor, poverty, and isolation based entirely on their ancestry. Their structure is subdivided into 55 to 65 precise classifications. Placement is hereditary, based on the actions of parents and grandparents. Then there are the wavering. The average citizens, normal people, and constantly monitored limited upward mobility, assigned basic state jobs. They had simple jobs but still had lower IQ. Kinda saying dumb. The core, loyalists and elites, they are still one of the most cared and one of the most wanted, like really wanted people in that area. They are wanted, and they had higher ranks that they could control, and they could actually control lots of things. And these kind of cores were people which were also connected to Kim Jong Un and Kim's family. Pyongyang, the VIP enclave. Pyongyang is actually the capital of North Korea. It included strict access, which only people which were the cores could enter, like the Kim's family, the people that were belonged to it, and people that had access to it. VIPs, very important people. The curated cast, residents are handpicked elites and loyalists with special ties to the Kim family. The illusion is like when the outside world or internet sees images of North Korea, they are almost exclusively looking at Pyongyang. A carefully managed facade hiding massive provincial poverty. This was the place for elites and cores, right? So all of the money and resources in North Korea were transferred to that place where the core could enjoy their life. There is also shown a part of building which was built for Kim Il Sung, and it is fire. It looks cool, right? 6 strange, shocking facts of the directed reality. Information blackout. Only 4 government-censored TV channels were available. Like Netflix or other channels like this were not allowed. And this is kind of boring. But that's the situation they are living. The domestic bubble. Only 2 million mobile subscribers and 0 international calls. You cannot call or do any kind of face talks, Zooms with other people in other countries. Banned appliances. Microwaves are strictly illegal due to severe daily energy crisis and power cuts. This is strange, right? But anything that uses energies and other things like this and other resources were not allowed. That's because these resources were important for the country cores, and others, like normal people, were not allowed. Even normal people were not allowed to use it. The hair menu. Only 28 approved haircuts were available, and 10 for men, 18 for women. These hairstyles were not even that interesting. And if you were in North Korea, you wouldn't even want it to, right? And that's the thing. And mandatory idolatry. Every home must probably display the Kim Jong Un's grandfather, Kim Il Sung, because that was their rule. It is kind of strange, and communists, dictators were taking over the whole countries, and all the people that were living there. And forced mourning on the anniversary of Kim Jong Un's death, Kim Il Sung's death. If you smiled or simply laughed, you were sentenced for death. And that's the interesting thing. Even the simplest things that could affect not only yourself and also even your family. And that's how it works. The 3-generation rule. If you did the thing that I have taught in the previous presentation, it's not only you who is being sentenced, right? Your families, your grandparents, grandmothers, and mother and parents, aunts, cousins, and your close people, even if it's your wife or your kids, were sentenced or killed. That's strange, because even if there is nothing to do with them, they had to still face these challenges. Strange, right? Crime rates remain uniquely low, not out of contentment, but out of absolute communal terror. Those communists teach people to not do anything because they put so many terrors and attacks. But there was still a person which escaped North Korea twice, not once, twice, and still was successful at doing it. Even if he was popular in social media, even Kim Jong Un was knew this. He knew this, but he didn't detect. And I don't know. Ask Kim Jong Un. The information vacuum, own time zone and calendar. Time itself is dictated by the regime, the attackers, it's actually the army. It's controlled by the army. You are closely looked after, even if you try to get out of country, even underground, they will still find you, and they will check you every hour, every 30 minutes, every 10 minutes, depending on what kind of crimes you did. And the Kim race citizens are not taught they are Asian. The factors citizens report not even knowing what Asia is. They don't even know anything about the outer world. No world maps. They aren't allowed to know how world looks like, how people in the other world live freely. And there was one North Korean defector citizen which was talked. He said that he doesn't know anything about the outer world, and he doesn't even know because they had actually restricted their freedom, their interest on world. You couldn't even talk to anyone international. Yes. The terror of elections. This is actually how elections work. Step 1, 100% turnout mandate. Every citizen that is connected to that person must be in the election scene, because so that they won't try doing crimes again. Step 2, the single options. Voters receive a ballot with exactly one pre-selected Workers' Party candidate. For example, Kim Jong-un running in the Mount Peak district. Yes, the true purpose of this thing was the government uses 100% turnout data as an unofficial census to track the whereabouts and loyalty of every citizen. If they said anything that affected badly, that was bad about the country, they were elected like this. And step 3 is the deposit. The ballot is cast without debate of opposition, and they are simply killed uh, when everyone is looking at them. The architecture of absolute power. Supreme leader, or the Kim Jong-un, unchecked executive power. Chairman of the State Affairs Commission was the king, was in the higher ground of every possible ranks. For example, Workers' Party of Korea. What I wanted to talk about, the ideological engine, directives from the party are treated as absolute law. The military is known as Sangun, received the lion's share of resources. They actually take so many resources if they attend in an army, even if they aren't really citizens. That's why people go to military, and that's the structure communists Kim Jong-un has used. It's actually Kim Jong-il's idea. And Supreme People's Assembly. This is an assembly which people of higher course combine to talk and to talk just to talk. The 687 deputy rubber stamp legislature meets only 1-2 times a year to blindly approve leadership decisions. Thank you. This was all about our presentation. See you later next time. I hope I will